What's up, guys? Nate with Nate's Nerd News, back with the Nate's Nerd News Show. We're back in the virtual studio again. I believe it's episode 9, but we're getting a returning guest to the show. This is my boy. He goes by many names, okay? This comic cooks, Vactor, Trust in the Force. I'm learning Feo is another one. And I know him as my buddy Trent. Trent, say what's good, brother.
Man, I can't wait to talk to Nate. He's my favorite. Oh, I love it. I can't wait.
Right on, bro. Well, welcome back to the stew, dude. I'm excited to be talking about this. We've kind of what's nice is we've kind of held back the, what's it called? I guess we've told each other we like the movie. We've not really talked review-wise about the movie. So if you guys are wondering, my small audience, what we're going to be doing in this episode, let me give you a little bit of a run. We're going to start off with a reintroduction of Trent, okay? You guys met him last time. You're going to meet him again. I'm going to rapid fire some Flashpoint questions at him. Then we're going to review Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's in theaters now. We've both seen it. And then we're going to do a fun game with Spider-Man. We're then going to talk Doomsday, which, oh my word, I've been so excited to talk about because we had to cut the episode off because we were having too much fun. And we went 2.5 hours or 2 hours, and we didn't even get to the last 3 points.
Yes.
Right on, dude. Well, great. Okay, well, let's start off with, obviously, the first segment. I love to do this with every single guest. It's the Flashpoint Paradox. Obviously, for the audience who doesn't know, it's a very renowned comic event where they go back in time and reset. And obviously, the Flash is fast. So I'm going to rapid fire questions after we reset, with Trent telling us, reintroduce yourself, buddy. Tell us a recent fun memory. Run with it, dude. Go ahead.
Yes, man. The recent fun memory is watching Nate's Nerd News on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. I love seeing my boy. And I was telling him before we recorded, he just did my favorite short he's ever done in his life, in the history of Nate's Nerd News, of him going to the AMC and talking about Daddy's Home. I love that short. That is the best one, Nate. Keep cooking. But, brother, I love it. Man, this is fantastic.
That's great, dude. Well, awesome. Is there anything else you want to say? I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I'm just here talking comic book stuff, so I love it, and I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite hero, so let's go, Nate. Let's go.
This is going to be huge. And to remind the audience of how me and Trent met, this is funny. So we had gotten close from a Bible study. Shout out to Hodgins' house. Me and my wife met him and his wife, a part of other couples at this Bible study. Shout out the Covenant crew. But anyways, yeah, dude, it was funny because he was rocking a Darth Maul shirt, and I went up and I was like, oh, dude, I love your shirt. And then his kid, Miles Morales, also known as Ezra, was rocking a Clone Wars shirt, and I had a tattoo. It's funny. And anyways, we just hit it off, and we're like, dude, we got to get you on the pod. Then he came on the pod, and now we literally text almost every day.
Yes, that is one of my favorite introduction stories of all time. I love it.
Let's go, dude. Well, great. Okay, dude, I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm going to rapid fire some questions at you. I feel like I cooked some of these questions. They're really random. Do it. Okay, you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
We got a minute, 2 minutes on the clock. I'm going to rapid fire 6 or 7. Okay, first off, how many times do you think you'll see Brand New Day in theaters?
Ooh, right now I'm at 3, so 5 is 5 is within range. So I'm going to say 5.
Okay, right on. Okay, so you say 5. Favorite Avengers movie out of the 4? I guess Civil War is kind of a 2.5.
Yeah, man, I like all of them for different reasons, but overall, I think Endgame, because the reason has to be on your left, the moment when everybody comes in and my theater erupted. One of my favorite movie moments of all time, watching Avengers Endgame, so it has to be Endgame for me.
Let's go. That's huge. Okay, absolutely great answer. Which Secret Wars comic line is better, the OG or the Hickman 2015 run?
Man, dang. The Hickman run is a better comic. The OG has nostalgia for me. So growing up, especially because the black suit was my favorite Spidey suit and it came from the original Secret Wars, that was to me GOAT all of time. I was like, this is amazing, this is fantastic. And then 2015 comes around and I'm reading Jonathan Hickman's and I'm like, my mind is being blown. I'm like, I didn't know comics could be this amazing. I didn't know there's so many different levels to this. So it's got to be Hickman overall as the better comic. But like I said, I still got love for the original because of nostalgia.
Yeah, Hickman is just one of the best stories put to paper, dude. Let's be honest.
Yes, 100%. And I really hope they can adapt something good in Doomsday Secret Wars. I I know they usually do these things where it's just the title and they don't necessarily adapt like a one-to-one from the comic story.
Yeah.
But with Hickman and Secret Wars, man, you are throwing money away if you don't incorporate some of that, because it's like one of the best things of all time.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll really remind me to talk about that later, because I have like some questions about like what we think we'll see and things like that, predictions, because we're going to be talking about Doomsday a little later, which is great that you said that, because I just want to remind me of that. Okay, ready? I guess you just answered this. Which Spider-Man suit would you wear for the rest of your life?
Ooh, man. See, growing up, it was the black suit. I was always, in my mind, I was like, the black suit, nothing can beat it.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, as I've matured in my ways, the classic red and blue has kind of been like, okay, it's a standard, it's a classic for a reason. Like, this is a masterpiece of design and comic book art. Man, dang. And I love, there's a Captain Universe design, which I also loved when I was growing up as Spider-Man. It's got like a star field on it, like a black cosmic space, and then there's a white star field on it. Man, I love that suit. Now the PlayStation, the Sony PlayStation
so
suit
good.
with the white spider,
the big white, the white spider is really good.
That stands out now. So I'm like, but you know what? Now I'm gonna go vanilla, boring, the OG original classic suit, which Brand New Day is now my favorite.
Let's go.
Live
That was my
action
next
version
question.
of that of all time.
Was like live action. Like which live action?
Yes, it's Brand New Day.
Yeah, that's huge.
For many reasons. I think we should talk about it when we talk about the movie, but that is now my current favorite suit.
Man, I can't wait to get in this, dude. Okay, great. Because that's gonna be great. Okay, random. What's your favorite food?
This right now, currently, is probably a controversial pick.
Yeah.
It is a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell. I know a lot of people are talking about Taco Bell right now. They're talking about lettuce.
They're talking
and
about
many
the
things
Thomas
going
Farms
on.
or whatever.
But anytime someone asks me, I tell them Mexican pizza, Taco Bell. You can have your caviar, you can have all your fancy foods. Give me a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell, and I am going to be on cloud 9. I will most of the time get 2, and I eat them like they're going out of style, because they took them away for like 10 years out of nowhere.
Oh, I feel the snack
and then when
wrap,
they came
dude.
back, I was like, I got to have Mexican pizza again. So that is my number one favorite food of all time.
That's hilarious. Great pick, honestly. Okay, I got a couple more questions here. Ready?
Yeah.
Organic web shooters or like techie web shooters?
Ooh. Now, this also is going to go into the Brand New Day talk, but I am not a fan of organic web shooters. I never have liked organic web shooters. Do you want me to get into why now or save it for the movie?
Save it, because I'm going to probably run with you on it.
Techie.
Okay, great to know. Okay, favorite Spider-Man villain?
Man. All time, it's Green Goblin, but as you mentioned, my son, baby Grogu, Ezra, he has fallen in love with Venom, so everything for him has to be Venom. So his love now has kind of made me a Venom fan. I've liked Venom, but he's never been my favorite. So now I'm like, even though now in the current comics, Venom is a good guy. All time, he is a Spider-Man villain in my eyes. So
he is, yes.
Green Goblin for me, and close second Venom because of my son.
That's great. That's not only Lauren's favorite villain. That's like her favorite superhero, super villain character of all time.
Oh, nice.
His villain, or his Venom.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
Okay, favorite Avengers
Shout out
villain.
Lauren. Avengers. Let's see. Are we talking comics or a movie?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Run with it.
So Thanos in the comics has never been like super compelling. The movie, I think, Endgame made him like one of the upper tier villains. So movie wise, Thanos. Comic wise, I actually really like Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors did not really get a chance to shine as Kang, but he's just got so much history and he's evolved into so many different things over the years. And him being a time traveler plays into, I think I mentioned on my last appearance, Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. And anything with time travel, I'm in for it, which is another reason why Endgame is one of my favorite movies of all time, but Kang the Conqueror, comic-wise.
Right on. Okay, great answer. Okay, ready? The last question, which is my favorite. Would you rather have Peter's intelligence or Spider-Man's powers?
Oh, man. That is a super difficult one because I like both. But
Tough.
I got to go overall intelligence because I think there's so many things that intelligence can make up for. Super intelligent characters are always one of my favorites. Like Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Hank McCoy, like the super smart guys, Mr. Terrific and DC. Like anytime I see well-written, super smart characters, also like why I like Rick from Rick and Morty. I'm like, oh, it would be amazing to be the smartest man on earth. And if you're smart, you can invent technology to almost replicate Spider-Man's powers. So I gotta go Peter's intelligence overall because I'll probably be able to invent technology to supplement for my powers.
Great answer. Okay, that's a great answer. Well, that concludes the Nate's Flashpoint paradox. Trent, that was money, actually. I love that last answer. That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, dude.
I love that
segment. I love it too, man. It's a good one. Okay, so get this. We're going to talk Brand New Day, dude. I'm really, really excited. Obviously, in our notes, I talked about kind of leaving it open-ended. I have like a little bit of a structure that I could go through if you want to do that, unless you have a structure in your head of what you want to hit. But I figured we'd probably just throw out some points and then kind of go off each other, like, you know.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm going to let the audience know, if you have not seen, at the time of this recording, we're probably going to drop this in a couple of days, but this is your spoiler warning for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So if you see this, save this video, come back to it, make sure to like it. If not, just buckle up because this was a great movie and I'm really, really excited to talk about it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd say like your first kind of thoughts on it, like what's your verdict?
So my first thoughts walking out of the theater the first time, and it's only been cemented after my initial or my subsequent viewings afterwards, was this has such a good feel to it in terms of a comic book movie, in terms of a superhero movie, in terms of a Spider-Man movie. All of these things, this feels like an evolution of this Tom Holland Spider-Man character to the point where it is like, I almost don't even know if they can go any higher. Like, I just walked out thinking that was a fantastic movie and fantastic evolution of that character that we've been following for like a decade almost at this point. And I really feel like this director, Destin Daniel Cretton, did a fantastic job picking up the baton from John Watts, the trilogy that he had up to this one. And I almost have no notes for this movie. Like, I liked almost everything in this film. So when I walked out, I was like, this was amazing, fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely like a great way to put it. It's funny, earlier today I was recording my actual Spider-Man review. When I walked out, I remember thinking immediately, I was like, I gotta go see it again. Which it's rare that I really want to see. I love seeing movies like anytime, anywhere. But like, you know, in my mind, if it hits that threshold, it's clearly something that's like really good. And I kind of thought, like, who is this movie kind of for? And I'm like, oh my word, it's a 4-quadrant movie. You're easily going to have the kiddos in there that's going to see this and maybe start another trilogy for Tom Holland. They're going to want to go back and watch, you know, the kids who already grew up with Tom Holland. Us who were, you know, kind of young adults, like, we're watching this already kind of knowing, you know, what's come before and things like that. But mostly I was like, hardcore Spider-Man fans, which is the hardest to hit usually because it can usually be like the most, just the most like, what's the word? And I'm myself included, can be the most like maybe critical in a good way. Yeah. I'm like, this movie is for them too, just as much as it is a good movie in its own. And I was really like excited to see that because I'm like, it is such a love letter. Like I said this last time with No Way Home. I think No Way Home is obviously a love letter to like Spider-Man movie fans, but this is just such a love letter to just like Spider-Man fans in general. They did everything right when it came to Spider-Man, in my opinion, which we can get into. But I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I want to spend more time with these characters because all of the supporting characters, Peter himself, what he goes through, the trials and tribulations, it just felt like a great comic book story, which is, you know, appeals to me 100%, where this is the type of storytelling that I like. This is like the most we've seen, I think, of Spider-Man in the suit, but at the same time, it is a Peter Parker story. Like this movie is Peter Parker dealing with work-life balance and mental health, trying to deal with the loss of community, the loss of other people in your life that you can lean on. And that, even though it's kind of weird because this feels like almost the most depressing of the Tom Holland movies, but at the same time, like, it's so compelling. The drama is so good that I love seeing it. Like, I feel like you said, 4-quadrant, it hits everybody, and there's just very few things that I have to take issue with.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah, dude, it just was. Correct me if I'm wrong, like when we say like it's dark and depressing, I'm like, that is what hits Spider-Man for me, because it's the duality of his life. Like, this guy's going through the ringer all of the time, but that's what makes his character great. Like, he's still 10 toes down doing the right thing.
There's a thing in the comics called Parker Luck, where it's basically like anything bad that can happen to him will happen. And I have some friends who they're like, oh, it's too much. Like, cut him a break. Like, give him something good that happens in his life. And it happens in the comics. Like, he always goes on waves and crests of, now his life is good. Okay, now his life is bad. But the core of who he is and the character of Peter Parker, what's essential to him is like, he is always doing the right thing. And even Tom Holland had that quote in the trailer. You hear him talk about, like, he's reading the letter to MJ, and he's like, Spider-Man does the right thing even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. And that's really that is I think the core of who he is, because his sense of responsibility and sacrificing for other people is 100. Like, you can't get any higher. He is going to sacrifice his body, his mind, everything, so that other people don't have to go through what he went through with Uncle Ben. So I think this movie does such a great job of capturing that essence of Parker Luck and Peter Parker, who he is as a person. That's what I really like about this movie.
Yeah, man. You couldn't say it better. And speaking of the good things about it, this is kind of funny. I did like a part A and part B for this. I think I'm going to adopt this from like every comic book movie that I'm now going to review. But I thought this was a good idea. So when we talk about, I would love to go down the what worked things, like what worked in the movie. But I had separated it from like a filmmaking perspective, like as a movie, and then the really obscure nerd stuff that we love and indulge in. So maybe part A, we could talk about, like, I'm going to ask you, like, from a filmmaking perspective, when you talk about performance, you were talking about the cast earlier, things from a filmmaking perspective or as a movie watcher, a movie fan, what are some of the things that work?
Well, I feel like Dustin Daniel Cretton is the MVP, along with Tom Holland. Like, those two in this movie are the 1-2 punch of director and star, where everything is on their shoulders, and they both deliver. Like, every scene Tom Holland is in, he's bringing it. A game, 100% acting chops. Everything that you're looking at is, I think, Cretton's vision. Like, this doesn't look like any other Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, and like I said, John Watts directed the previous ones. The visual style of it, the sense of immersion that you get. I think this movie has the best web swinging of any movie.
Oh, 100%.
The Andrew Garfield Spider-Man's had that first-person perspective thing, and that was kind of cool. Tobey was kind of like the first time we saw it in live action. This one is like an evolution. It takes bits and pieces of everything, as well as another really strong thing about this movie, I think, is the amount that they take the inspiration from the PlayStation video games.
Yes.
Cannot, like, my wife, Candy, kept turning to me during the movie and saying, "This is the video game." And it's funny because she hasn't even played the game, but I actually have a series on my YouTube where I went through all of Miles Morales, the Spider-Man video game, with my wife, and I was playing and I was talking to her and kind of giving her background and perspective on the comics. And so she has that perspective of just being not like a backseat gamer, but she's in the passenger seat watching.
Yeah.
And she picked up on all of those. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm applauding her. I was like, yes, you're right. This, like, everything about the fighting, everything about the web slinging, like, it just feels like you are playing the video game, and it feels like you are in it. And so I thought that was like one of the biggest things that Cretton brings to this movie is something we hadn't seen before. It's an evolution of all of those things, and that extends to all of the fight scenes, like the wire work of the hand, like Spider-Man, all of these things, these elements of action, adventure, and even there's little bits of humor and heart. Like all of these things are mixed in. And that's what I think, just as a film, even if you don't like Spider-Man, this is just a really good film because you relate to the protagonist, whether you know anything about Spider-Man at all. And even if you hadn't seen those previous Tom Holland movies, now, yes, you're going to miss out on the growth of the characters, just spending time with them. But really, all you need to know is, hey, everybody forgot who he is. Nobody knows who Spider-Man is. That's all you really need to know for this movie as kind of setup. And you watch it unfold, and they just tell you a good story. So from a filmmaking standpoint, I think this movie is one of the best. I think we're going to do our kind of comparisons and rankings a little bit later, but it just, as a film, is solid. Like, there's just very little for me to be like, I didn't like that. Like, I liked pretty much everything about the film itself.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah, I think that when you talk about that 1-2 punch originally with Destin Daniel Cretton, and, you know, I think that not only, and I'll loop this all together, but I had some notes on, I think it's bar none the best Tom Holland performance of a Spider-Man movie. 100%. I think we can easily agree on that. That's like a given. Something that I did want to talk about with his performance was, I don't know if you heard, but obviously you saw the Odyssey, and wait, did you see the Odyssey?
I did.
Okay,
70 millimeter IMAX.
There we go. That's right. Yeah. Down at Tempe, Arizona Mills, man. Right on. Yeah. So anyways, so with Tom, like, he had talked about in press that the starting filming date of production for Spider-Man Brand New Day and the Odyssey were the exact same day. And after Chris Nolan had asked him to be on it, Tom literally went, I think it's Amy Pascal, at Sony and was like, listen, like, I have to do this movie. And they literally pushed the production back for Tom to do it. I mean, anybody with your lead character getting in a Chris Nolan movie, like, that can only benefit your movie. And that's exactly what he did, because he talked about, which, mind you, one of the big things I came out of the Odyssey was like, this is Tom's best performance ever, by far. Like, when he's like, the banquet's over, like, there's so many just bars in that movie. But as Telemachus, like, he had even talked about in press, he's like, I'm not even lying, I learned so much in acting in this movie, and it actually helped me out a lot in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And it was funny because I kind of took that and I correlated it with, I was rewatching some of the Spider-Man, obviously, like, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and even in, like, No Way Home, which is a peak movie in my mind. I love that movie. There's moments where his acting, it's not that it's bad, but I just, compared to what he does in this movie, I just am like, oh my word, this is a completely different actor. And so I was really, really excited to see that. And the same thing goes for, like, the supporting cast. You know, obviously, if Sadie Sink, which she killed it more than I even thought she would. John Bernthal was like, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I have been on the record, I've talked about John Bernthal sometimes is a little one-dimensional for me as an actor. It's kind of the let me tell you something argument. Like, sometimes I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just always kind of the same character, but I really felt like in this, it worked so well, and it worked so well clashing with, and that was a highlight for me. I mean, even Zendaya, like, her acting was better, like, you know, so, I don't know, it was really cool to see the supporting cast. I thought the performances were really good. And again, like, you were talking about the direction, man, like, it's just like a perfect mix. It's literally like a perfect mixology of it, because Destin Daniel Cretton's style of filming fits it so well. And I'm going to ask about this in a second, but, like, I guess this is the perfect time to ask about it. Like, what did you think about the cinematography? Because I actually have some great notes for this. I thought some really good stuff, but did you notice, like, a difference in kind of how the movie looked?
Yeah, immediately I asked my wife, because when I took her, it was my third viewing when I took her. So I had already seen the film, and I said to her, does it look like darker to you? And not in a tone sense. It was like literally darker, like the screen looks darker than normal. And she didn't notice, and I was like, okay. But when I was watching it, I was thinking, like, man, this kind of looks like almost like a Christopher Nolan movie. Like, especially compared to the previous Tom Holland films, this just looks like a completely different style. And I love it. I love the visual style of how he looks, how he sets the tone, and the way, like I said, the way that he shoots action, the way that he shoots even just the two shot of whether it's Black Widow and Spider-Man, or whether it's MJ and Spider-Man or Ned and Spider-Man, like just communication between people.
Yeah.
It's just a master class, I think, of these guys are hitting it on their basically on all strides. Yeah. Like on all cylinders. And I really like the evolution of all of these people because Destin Daniel Cretton, I've been following him since Short Term 12, which if anyone hasn't seen, fantastic independent movie, which he did a short film of Short Term 12, and then he did that got the funding and the budget to do a feature. And he impressed me on that. That was like Brie Larson's really like coming out as well. And ever since then, I've been following him. Love Shang-Chi. That was one of my favorite. Like, I'm a huge martial arts fan, so everything in Shang-Chi, where especially the bus scene, where I was like, "That's Jackie Chan, man! This is the second coming of Jackie Chan." So following him and then Wonder Man, I was like, "This is like, I love this show." So everything he's done is just feels like a constant evolution for him, and this is no exception. I think this is their best work. All of these people involved, and like you said, Zendaya, I felt her emotional scenes that she played off of Peter were fantastic. The stuff where, and we're in full spoilers right at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Go ahead.
When Sadie Sink possesses her, and she has to do it's always funny when actors have to pretend there's somebody else inside the body and they're like acting like someone else. But the way that she was just had total disdain for him and was like, "Oh, this is sad. Like there's nothing in here. She doesn't even think about you." Which that's good, man. Yeah, that was some great dramatic work. I do have a gripe as far as the characterization of Jean Grey and her motivations and her actions that she takes in this movie, especially on my second and third viewings. I had constant questions where I was like, why is she doing that? Like, why is she so bad? Like, why is she so evil in this movie? There's one point where she possesses a guy and he stands in the middle of the road and gets hit by a car.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
what
are you doing? Yeah. And the opening shot, the first time you see her basically is that tank scene, right? And what was her plan for the old lady in the tank with a bomb in it? I think she was just going to kill that old lady. It was like,
yeah, that's
what?
Nuts.
Yeah. And going into it, that was the thing that in the back of my mind, I was always like, why would Jean be a villain? Why would she be bad? Now, I understand the justification for it in this movie, but at the same time, it's like, is this a character that I really want to root for in the upcoming X-Men movies? Because the initial way that she's introduced, it just feels kind of mean-spirited to me. It's like a little too much. I think they pushed it a little bit too much on that side.
Maybe it's a little bit of obviously you have the typical Phoenix comic line, but maybe they're showing a little bit of she could be a villain in the future. She's going to find her footing, but she could be a villain in the future.
Yeah, and I've even seen people kind of the rumors on these movies always, the trailers going back to this, but people have been speculating that could be there's a latent Phoenix already in her, and they're like, oh yeah, it's just going to manifest and come out even more later. I don't know about that. I guess if you want to say
that's a reach,
but it's the same way with the Peter becoming more arachnid. The scenes that we have in this movie where that side of his DNA is taking over, it really felt like the black suit to me. It felt like he started acting like Venom. He started acting like like Tobey did in Spider-Man 3, or when the black costume was taking over his body and he was going out during the night and he was all tired because the suit was taking him for a joyride at night. So with Jean, I don't know specifically how much is going to be tied to Phoenix later. And that's another thing, that we've already seen the Phoenix twice in live action and it didn't work both times. I don't know if we need another Phoenix.
You got to cue it
in
up
live action.
So you have to have some build up. You're going to have to put it in the backseat is my biggest thing. There's so many other X-Men storylines you can go to. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Just everybody, to me, across the board, gave great performances in this movie.
Yeah, man. I just loved it. I think in terms of cinematography, this is something I talk about a lot. I noticed that you're right, it was darker, but there was real high saturation, which I love. I literally love. That's my visual, basically just my chef's kiss in a way. I love high saturation. There's a point where that same rooftop scene where Jean, you don't know that Zendaya is taken over. But he drops her off and she says where are we going? Whatever. And then he's like, I don't know. What da 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 da. And then he goes out to the edge of the building and you see a flopped camera view where you see the big silver sign in red. It's obviously red neon lights. And he turns around because she's like, "Did we know each other?" And he turns around and it's nighttime, but it shines the red on him. It's like my favorite shot of the movie because I'm like, oh, that's such a cool way. And then he kind of comes behind the sign and they have this like really deep talk. I don't know. It was cool. And, you know, obviously I thought that, again, the lighting during the emotional scenes were great. I thought there was really cool camera movement. And like there was two scenes. One I think was the hand, and then the other one was previous with the Hulk fight, where he's running from the Hulk and he's webbing. But he jumps on the wall, and then he jumps on the ceiling, and the camera moves with him. And I was just like, that's so cool. And I don't know, just stuff like that is so really, really cool to see, especially in like a Spider-Man movie. It feels like you're with him. It's a similar comparison when you see like the first person with TASM or things like that. Like it's just, I love to see nuance with that. And I love to see like when it works, because everybody can flip a camera upside down, but like it worked there because it was it was serving the story. Like it was telling us parts of the story. And I really love that. Obviously, you talk about the action, man. Like this was Jackie Chan's stunt team. And you know when you talk about some of the movement, man, like it literally was the Insomniac Spider-Man, like the way he jumped off the roof backwards, like where he's like you guys stretchers, like da 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 da, and then he jumps off the wall and does like kind of like a corkscrew. That's literally like pushing circle on the PlayStation controller. Like there's just things like that are really, really cool. Another huge thing before I move on to the nerd stuff was I thought the needle drops in this movie were really good. And really refreshing. And like that, it's called Loser, I think, is Tame Impala. It's when he sees Ned grab the beer kegs. And it's like, dun, 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 and he follows him in. I was just like, what a good needle drop, man. Like, that's good. There was like some Shaka Khan in there. Like, it was Steve Lacy. Like, there was some really, really cool stuff. But in terms of when it comes to being like a Spider-Man fan, are there any, like, I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit, but, like, are there any really niche, maybe fan perspectives that you enjoyed for things that worked from, like, a really, like, from a nerd point of view?
Well, I think just there was so many things that this movie got correct about Spider-Man as a character. Like we talked about, just the core fundamentals of who Peter Parker is, and also a huge thing about this movie that Destin Daniel Cretton mentioned at the premiere, which I thought was fantastic, was having a web of connection to the people that we love. And for me, that hit me so deep because my wife, my son, my parents, my family, my extended family, like everyone in my life, I rely on so heavily for my connection, for my, like, just in order for me to be grounded and to be like 100%, that web has to be there. And so with this one, it's like you take that away, and what is Peter Parker? That's why he's starting to change. That's why he's starting to become more animalistic, because he throws himself into being Spider-Man, and he does it so well that's why we see that montage of him just beating villain after villain. It's like, and he's getting the key to the city. He's like peak Spider-Man. And the street level crime doesn't pose a threat to him because he's just so good, but he's given it up at the expense of his Peter Parker life, which one gripe, one little small nitpick that I have. I want to ask you, what is your thoughts on this? Where is he getting the money for all of his technology, for all of the flowers that he's buying for May, for all of the Little Caesars pizza that he's getting delivered?
I saw that. I want to pick that up the second time.
I want to see his job. I want to even just a mention of, I'm taking pictures for the Bugle, whatever. I would have just like at least one line, because there's like no evidence for him getting any income in this movie. And that's always in the comics, one of the fun things about Spider-Man is like he's always behind on his rent, he's always late on things. And so it's like this one, it's like he seems to be pretty well off in like all of the stuff that he has, but he has no job that I know of. So what is your take on that, Nate? What is he doing for a job, for income?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny because you watch movies like this, and maybe you're like me, but I try to justify in my head, like your headcanon just goes wild, right? It's kind of the same thing with Jean Grey. Like, why is she doing this? Like, my headcanon was, like, what is she gonna blow up an old lady? Well, in my headcanon, I'm like, well, maybe she planned it she knew she was gonna get help because, like, she knew someone was gonna open it up. But again, that's just kind of stretching. But my headcanon, I guess, for this, I was thinking, because you're right, I'm like, man, it's so easy to just have him take a camera, just like Andrew. like in TASM 2, he literally, you see him just type an email to J. Jonah Jameson or the Bugle. And so it's just like things like that. You could just, it's a really easy retcon to like say, hey, like he is, or not a retcon, but like he's getting money. Like show the guy like Uber eating, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, swinging some Uber Eats, like it's not hard. But I do think in my mind, I'm like, maybe my headcanon runs where, you know, you see him get the key to the city and you see him doing all these fun things for like, you know, like everybody's loving him. That's what I thought the movie did really good, is like New York is finally embracing Spider-Man. Like that's their hero.
That was fantastic.
What I thought was cool. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, maybe he's getting like some sponsorships or like some endorsements. Like, I don't know. But again, that's such a stretch, like a Spidey sponsorship. Like, and then he has all this tech upstairs, and you'd think, yeah, like he's dumpster diving, he's going back to his roots and maybe like building this stuff. But I mean, even when you see, there's a little point where he's like asks the landlord, like, hey, like, what about this attic? And like when he walks, like there's a brief moment where the guy's like, it's a dump, it's been used for storage. He's like, that's perfect. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you pay that lease, brother? Like, I know it's cheap, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's a great question, because it's not hard. And I would hate for us to get to the last movie in Tom Holland's thing, and then they kind of throw something in there about him. Oh, I'm working at the Daily Bugle now. You know, like you got to kind of build some of these things. I don't know.
And it's like I said, it's a nitpick. It doesn't ruin the movie for me. But as I watched it over and over again, I was like, that's something that we could easily throw in there. And it lines up with the comics. Like, we know that's who Peter is. And him always struggling to find a job, struggling to find work, because like classically the pictures are like freelance. It's not, you know, best thing in the world for a kid, freelance. Whatever, no jobs. Like, so that stuff, he's always trying to find work, and it's always a constant struggle for him. This one, there's no struggle at all. It's like, it's almost like they cut that out.
Struggling
like
mentally,
there was
financially.
Yeah. So that's just one nitpick that I had. I actually saw a lot of people, I don't know if you've read a lot of reviews on this. The biggest takeaway that I got from people, or the biggest, I guess, con for the movie, was people were saying that it was too much story. Like there was too many storylines, I should say. They were trying to weave in too many things. I didn't get that at all. I felt like everything to me like cohesively fit. The way that Punisher was in there, the way that Banner was in there, MJ and Ned, the way that Jean is in there, like all of those things all tie into that having the web of connection that Cretton talked about at the premiere. And that to me is the thesis for this movie, is what are you when you take away, like when that web is removed, when you cut the web. And Frank, not only Frank Castle was kind of the comedic relief because of that like odd couple pairing that they have, which was great. But for like the reason he's in the movie, I think, is because he's showing you what it's like with no connection. And he had that great scene where he's like, "You think this is a lifestyle?" Like that.
He's like, "This is a sentence."
Perfect. Yes, that was perfect to me when they like that writing was chef kiss right there. The way that Banner is kind of like this, he's got this fractured psyche and his lack of connection to anyone. He has to cut himself off because of the Hulk. He can't really get close to anyone, and dealing with that other side was a reflection of Peter when he's dealing with the spider. So like there's reason for him to be in there. There's reason for the MJ and Ned, that connection. You see what his life is like without them, and then you get that one taste in the scene, which is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, where they're sitting there building Legos, and they start quoting Lord of the Rings to each other. Like that was like, I felt seen in that, because I'm always quoting movies to people and sending GIFs. So I was like, that's me. Although Lord of the Rings is not like one of my favorite things, but I do quote that scene to people on occasion. So I think all of those things just fit together, and I didn't feel like there was any filler. I didn't feel like there was anything extra. Even having Yelena in there, putting her, like the way that she was kind of telling him he was a sad, like, hey, I can see it on you. Like I can, like, you don't have to say it out loud. You can see that you are a sad person who needs connection. You need friends. The way that DeWolf was in there, and she was telling him like, hey, you can't just be Spider-Man the whole time. You need to get out sometimes. You need to let us do the work. And I love kind of that work-life balance message that's in here. Is almost like you can't just get caught up in only doing work and not having your friends, not having your family. What it does to Peter in this movie, and then him coming back like that, the hand fight when he's like, I'm both, I'm Peter and I'm Spider-Man. Like that to me, I was like, yeah, he found balance. Like this is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of those things. I didn't find too many plot lines. I didn't find like too many things and having to sacrifice something. Like you're losing.
Did you have any other cons?
The only other con, and this isn't even really a con of the movie, it's more a con of the choice that they made for this. The organic web shooters, the reason why I said that I don't like them, I didn't like them in the Tobey movie.
Same.
I don't like them. It's the clearest path, I think, of showing, it's like a shorthand of saying Peter Parker is a genius. He built these web shooters himself. He made the web fluid himself. All the stuff when he's talking to Ned and they're like going off about, well, of course it's cycling in here and then the nozzle that comes out, like they're doing the scientific talk about it. I was like, this is great. I love this. Yeah, I love this stuff. So taking that away and having the organic web shooters, I really want to see like what is going to be the ramifications of that in future films. Like this is a really good bridge movie to things that are going to happen. And so it's going to be exciting to see where Spider-Man goes next, where the next kind of storytellers take this, where the organic webs go, where the Ned and MJ relationships of, you have a real chance here to not do the cliche thing of they just remember everything's back to normal. And I thought that was so great when there's the fake out of the MJ kiss. And I saw it because, like I said, I saw it 3 times. On my subsequent viewings, every time that scene happened and MJ kisses him, I just got a grin on my face. I was like, oh, these people don't know what they're in for.
Yeah.
Because they are cheering. They're like, yeah.
And then you hear her say, she's like, I just watched a video on this today. It was like, you hear her say, like, hold her, Peter. Hold her tight. And then everybody's like, come on, man. Like, oh, man. It's so funny. Actually, it's so true.
Yeah, when the audience reacts like that and they have that genuine emotional attachment, I always love, even if I miss a couple lines, it's worth it to me because it's kind of similar to that On Your Left moment where I have this vivid memory of this guy screaming next to me when after On Your Left was said, this guy next to me, let's go, and I was like, this guy just got me more pumped up because of his excitement. But I always love seeing that in theaters when people just have that genuine emotional reaction. But it's just there's just so much good stuff in here.
Yeah, totally. It was funny when you say, like, because this is one of my questions was the cons, and I'm like, there's most everything worked. Like, I think that it wasn't really cons with the movies, it was more like choice in the movies. Like, I think everything they chose to actually do, they executed well on. It's just my questioning of why they did. First off, I got a couple here. First off, I talked about the organic web shooters too. I like, the only reason I'm okay with it is because it serves the purpose of the story. Like it's giving purpose. Like that's a plot point. But again, I'm just like, that sucks because I'm really curious about how they're going to show Peter still being a genius. When they maybe bring Miles in, like maybe Miles has the web shooters again and Peter teaches him. Like, I don't know. But I do think that the marketing showed way too much of this movie. And I've already been on this like grind of like really not trying to watch trailers. But then I was like, I've already seen most of the trailers. Like the trailers are just kind of recycling it. But I'm bummed that I'm like, oh, the hand fight, like that's going to be great. I actually thought that was part of the beginning. And then I'm like, wait, that's the main fight. And it's a really cool moment, but I'm like, imagine if they didn't show Spider-Man grabbing the sword. Like, yes, he doesn't say I'm both, but like, I'm like, oh man, like I literally watched the fight and I watched him do the spinning web things. Like I've seen all that from the trailers. And I do think on that same note, like I think there was a little bit of missed, and these are all small gripes because that fight was so sick. But I thought there was a little bit of missed opportunity with the villains. And I'm just bummed, again, this may be going to like the nerd part of me, is I'm like, man, you have Marvin Jones III. He's Tombstone. Like, you have Tarantula and Boomerang and Ramrod and like all these different people and even Scorpion, honestly. Like, I was just like, man, they're a little underutilized. And maybe I think that's where people are confusing, trying to cross the wires. But I'm like, I really wish, especially again with the marketing, they literally showed the montage and it makes you think, wow, this is what we're seeing in the trailers. We're gonna see so much of these guys. This is gonna be sick. There's Lego sets, there's toy sets. Like, Marvin Jones gets a sentence, but I just am like, dude, like, what the heck? Like, we don't get to see these crazy good characters finally on screen. They're making their on-screen debut. Felt the same way the opening montage of Fantastic Four. I'm just like, man, this is kind of a bummer. Now, I think that, like, what Marvel does really well is they take that and they'll probably put them in other projects. Like, they've done that a lot. Like, look at the hand. I mean, or just teasing different people. Like, they will pull them separately. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of a bummer. And I think my only other minor gripe, very, very minor, is that I feel like they underutilized Ned. I would have liked Ned to have a little bit more of some crumbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you miss him not being the guy in the chair. That's something that, going back and rewatching Homecoming, I was like, oh man, I do miss having that connection. And they give him the Spidey tracker thing is kind of like his thing in this movie, where it's like, that's his main purpose besides drinking energy drinks and posting on social media. It's like the Spidey tracker. And I miss having, like, even in that scene where MJ's helping him with the inhibitor overheating, like, I miss having that connection of those characters. And this movie, obviously the main message is, what is it like without having that web of connection? But then, because you're making that choice, you are sacrificing the joy of us having that time with those characters and having that together. And again, I think this makes a good bridge movie, because I think we'll eventually get back to that, but it's just going to take some time. And I'm also curious about, speaking of Ned, the ending can be taken a couple different ways. So I'm curious, did you have a different take when you watched it again, or did you have the same take? And what is that take of Ned's remembering? What did he remember? How did he know the handshake? Like, what was your mental take on that?
Yeah, I think that definitely, great question. I think that I don't believe that he remembers his memories with Peter. I don't think at all. I think if anything, he knows I think it was a great way to say this is muscle memory. And it's like, wait, like, it's kind of like, you know, there's a part where Zendaya is talking to Ned in the kitchen of the party after Ned follows her. Did you get the job? Did you get the job? She's like, I feel like I'm waiting for something more. She literally looks right at Peter, and Peter kind of looks away and like drinks a drink. So there's obviously some muscle memory. And so I think that he has the same muscle memory. And, you know, I think the departure of that is Zendaya explaining, like, I don't know you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, that was a really sad moment. But I do think that Ned knows Peter, obviously, because, wait, you know Spider-Man's first name's Peter? Like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, you're Peter. Like, you know, that makes sense. And, I don't know, because there's interesting. It's like, well, why would you even prompt yourself to say that off muscle memory? There's got to be a remembrance. But maybe Zendaya went back and said, like, yo, like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm thinking with that, you know?
Yeah, and I've seen speculation online that the magic elements that he had, remember in No Way Home, being able to use the sling ring, and my grandma says I'm magic. Like, they're saying that because of that, that's why he's able to break through the spell. So that camp, they are like, oh no, he remembers. Like, him saying Peter is him remembering all of the things. And like, I can see that take, and that's a valid take. But then I can also see your side, where I feel like him saying Peter is more his surprise of, he just put it together. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, he said, oh, wait.
Spider-Man's name is Peter. Like, that to me was that's what I felt his take was in that moment.
That's what I thought.
And so it's like, I feel like it's ambiguous, and you could have either take. I don't think either one is wrong, and we'll see in the next movie. But until then, you know, I think our speculation is going to run rampant. But yeah, I thought he definitely was missed, the guy in the chair. Which is, you know what's so crazy about Ned is, Ned Leeds in the comics is the Hobgoblin. Like, he has nothing to do with Peter as a friend relationship. They really took that from Miles Morales, who has a friend named Genki in the comics.
Genki.
I don't know why.
Very much like Genki.
They didn't specifically, like, that was when he first got cast. I was like, oh, that's Genki. That's not like when Homecoming came out. I was like, oh, that's Genki. So I'm just not 100% sure why John Watts made that decision when that was originally came out, but it's
the same like MJ Michelle Jones thing.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of that. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just, if you're gonna call her MJ, like, why isn't she just Mary Jane? And like, they don't have to grow up together and be neighbors. Like, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Because the thing is, this is like the 616 Peter. This is not an alternate universe. Peter Parker.
You don't need to have a different take. So this is like you're reimagined. Like,
right. I don't quite get that. I don't fully understand that.
I did have a question for you, and I thought of you during this.
Yes.
And to kind of wrap, because we got to get cooking here on this this other thing, but but dude, I had a question. So on our last pod, you had talked about, and we both kind of agreed, but you really like made a really good point about people don't really understand how strong Spider-Man is. And like genuinely, like we see the Marvel DC crossover where he's holding, like casually holding up this thing, and it's like this willpower kicks in. People just like do not truthfully understand. And I think we kind of talked about how Tom Holland is definitely a stronger Spider-Man compared to like Tobey and Andrew, and that's great. And then I was thinking on this separate note, and I'm going to get to the question in a sec, but on the separate note, I was thinking, well, the Hulk, I actually really liked how they handled the Hulk because he was isolated and it was very brief. And there was a lot of like angst with it. He literally, when he came back to Bruce, did I do this? Oh my gosh. Like, what did I do? Like, oh my gosh. And he's like, get out of the building. Like, and so I thought that was really cool to keep it really isolated. But what I had thought is, do you think that Spider-Man fighting the Hulk or webbing the Hulk or, you know, standing toe to toe, do you think did you get a vibe that they're kind of showing people, hey, Spider-Man's way stronger than you think?
That's interesting. I didn't get that from my initial viewing. The thing that I kept focusing on was the way that the webs kind of they change based on the story needs. Like sometimes they're really sticky, sometimes they just easily rip off, sometimes they get cut and
this time it was really strong.
Yeah. And I felt like the Hulk should have been able to break the webs. Like there's when he's being pulled out of the building and all the debris is like holding on to him. I'm almost like, I feel like the Hulk would just break out of that. But I did love the way that the mental was played. And we've seen this going back to Endgame where Banner and Hulk are like at odds in the MCU. Yeah. And him being able to make the smart Hulk, and then in this one him being like, there's no Banner at all, this is all Hulk, and
only Hulk.
that all of that stuff is great. I saw another theory online that was saying, okay, does Hulk, like, did the Doctor Strange spell not work on the Hulk, but it worked on Bruce Banner, and so Hulk knows that he's Peter Parker but Banner doesn't know? Like there was that. Because he kind of, when Peter says, I'm Peter, I'm your friend, that's when the Hulk lets go.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's a good point.
Hulk, does he know he's
dude,
Peter?
like, that's a great question. I had thought when I originally saw that he was cast, I was like, or going to be in the movie, I thought was, sorry, my head's like super itchy sometimes with these headphones. But I had thought in my mind, I'm like, okay, like this plays great. This is a great plot point because, like, Hulk is going to remember, like, and there's going to be this outstanding villain where they might fight each other, but they're going to end up fighting together. And like Hulk's going to know, or vice versa. Like Bruce will know. And so, I mean, I guess like in my mind, I'm like, even like when Bruce is like, what'd you say your name again was? Like he there's like a part of him that like maybe the Professor Hulk like kind of knew, like, wait, like I think I might know you. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of like that ambiguous a little bit. It kind of lets you think. I think that's a good point.
Yes.
But if you had to, I'm curious though, what is your rating? Like, what is your number? I need a drum roll. I wish I had a drum roll beat real quick. Tell me if you hear this. Can you hear that? The applause?
Oh, no.
You can't hear the applause? Or what about this? I want to try to see. What about the air horn? No?
I can hear that, yes. It's like I can hear faintly.
Maybe it came through my headphones. I have this like soundboard that I'm like testing out. I wanted to hit like a drum roll, but Trent. Oh, there you go. Let's go. And what is your number? Actually, I want to know. Maybe hit the drum roll before you do it, because this is Trent Vactor's score on Spider-Man Brand New Day? I want to know.
Are we doing this out of 10 or out of 5?
I do it out of 10, and then I make my reason out of 5.
Okay.
All right, bro.
All right. Brand New Day gets a 9 out of 10 from me.
Let's go. I think that's a great score.
This is one of my favorites. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I love this movie. I love how it feels, how it looks. It's so much like the PlayStation game, and it's so much like the comic books, which are two things that I love, that I feel like they were able to merge these things together and make just a really fantastic movie. So 9 out of 10. I do have another Spider-Man higher than this one, but I really like.
We're gonna get to that.
This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I'm so excited. All right, bro. I'm gonna give you my score. You wanna hit that drum roll?
Oh yeah.
Brand New Day gets an 8 out of 10 from Nate's Nerd News. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I think that for me it was like, I think that's gonna go. That's so funny. I think it's gonna go up. I truthfully do. I think I'm such a stickler when it comes to anything that breaks past like 7. I have to be like ultra specific because I rarely put things into my like 10 out of 10. And it's really hard to even give like a 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I gave this a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. In terms of like film, I don't think it's anything that's like groundbreaking. But again, dude, like everything that it was set out to do, it completed and executed, and I loved it. And as a fan, it's absolutely one of my favorites. I think it's going to marinate, and we're going to get to this next segment, which is good. We're going to talk about, and I wanted to talk about, what does it rank against other Spider-Man movies? So let's pull out the list here, brother. I'm going to ask you live, and we'll kind of go by it together. I'll ask you first, and then we'll go after. But this is our next segment. Is Spider-Man Brand New Day better than ... We're going to go through the movies, and we're going to talk about if it's better or is the better than the movie that I'm going to give you. So, Trent, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you. All right. Okay, so first things first, brother. Is Spider-Man Brand New Day better than Spider-Man 1, 2002?
It's very difficult for me to take away the nostalgia of the first movie, because I'm a big, like, the very first time something is done, that breaks barriers. Even if other movies come along later that are better, if another movie did it first and was like the first one, I still hold it in very high esteem. So Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 1, I feel like it's neck and neck with Brand New Day. The reason why is because it tells you the origin story, which to me, I've never disliked origin stories. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we've heard of, so many times Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, we know their origins, so let's skip it. And that was a big thing about Homecoming. People were like, oh, it's good because we just skipped all of the origin story. I'm like, give it to me again. I love Spider-Man's origin story. I want to see it again. Seeing Tobey Maguire, that was one that I did not watch any trailers on because I didn't want to see what he looked like swinging. And so when I saw it for the first time, it was like magic. I was like, this is so not cool. Real. That character. I wouldn't even if there was a huge marketing push for that movie. If a commercial came on TV, I ran out of the room. I would not view it. If it came on in the theater, I plugged my ears, I closed my eyes. Like, I was able to really lock in for that one, and I did not see a single trailer for that one except for the Twin Tower teaser trailer that they had to pull later because of 9/11. That was the only trailer that I saw, which was a teaser. So that first Spider-Man to me has this untouchable like nostalgia because it was the first one in live action, and they did it so well. They pulled off all of the things so well, except for my gripes for any Spider-Man movies: not enough jokes, not enough quips, and not enough intelligence, not enough smarts. So Tobey, I'm sorry. Besides those two things, everything else is perfect. So that very first Spider-Man, it's like neck and neck with Brand New Day.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to put Brand New Day on top.
Okay, all right.
That may change.
I have it at the same. I said it's yes, it is. And it's funny because I separate in my mind, I'm like, what is critically the best? Like, what is a good movie versus like, what is my favorite movie? You know what I mean? And like, what's the best versus my favorite?
That is important.
And so it's really hard. I walk that line in my mind because I just like, sometimes I don't know if my brain like wants to see it symmetrical. But like, I even sometimes have like, and again, it's flavor of the week for me because like it's such a spectrum. Things change like when I rewatch and things like that. But like Spider-Man, the first one, for me, like Green Goblin's performance is like literally like top 3 villain performances across all media. At least in like anything that's pop culture. Like I literally have like Vader, Heath Ledger's Joker, and then like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. And and I think that like for me, like that was my dad used to always just quote it. He used to always, this is so stupid, but he used to have this like saying back in the day. I really don't know the origin, but it fit well with Spider-Man. It was this sounds super weird, but he used to always say like he'd like get in your face because he was always like tried to be scary. He's like green metalici, like he'd say like something like that, and but it worked out really well because of the Green Goblin. So it was almost like it would like fuse together, and so I just have like a lot of fond memories of like how scary that was. And he's like, you know, like you're gonna have to pick, or like when he slaps him on the head when he's up on the roof, like. There's so many good things, but anyways, all that to say is I think I have that above. I have Brand New Day above because it just hits everything, man. Like, it's really tough. Spider-Man 2, what do you have? Is Brand New Day better than Spider-Man 2?
Dang, this is also really tough because Spider-Man 2 is a gold standard superhero movie. It's one of those ones that I think, along with X-Men 2, people hold up as like, this is one of the greatest superhero movies and one of the greatest Marvel movies of all time. Doc Ock, man, such a great villain.
That's good.
And both of these first two are such great Sam Raimi like stamps. When you see that Doc, like the metal arm scene when he first becomes Doc Ock, the cutting is so Sam Raimi. It's like this looks like an Evil Dead movie. Yeah,
it does. Like when he wakes up in the hospital and it's just like gets the saw, boom, yeah,
that one also it's so hard. Man, I'm gonna go Brand New Day just a little bit over Spider-Man 2.
Okay, wow, all right, dude. Yeah, this is one that I have at the moment. I think it's like maybe no, but I think when I ranked this, I'm thinking more in terms of critically. Like I just am like, I think Spider-Man 2 again is a gold stamp, like thematically a great movie. But then like I honestly think this might age better than that in my mind. Like sometimes like in terms of favorites, dude, like I have Spider-Man 1 over Spider-Man 2 sometimes because again, it's the first, it broke barriers. I think Green Goblin Willem Dafoe is like a better performer than Alfred Molina, even though that's one of the best villains we've had seen in live action. So I said at the moment maybe like no, but I truthfully think that like it kind of changes it. Like it's kind of tied with, there's 3 movies on here where it's tied, and I'll wait till the end to say it, but Spider-Man 3, is it better than Spider-Man 3?
That one is an easy yes. Brand New Day is way better than Spider-Man 3. Man, so much collapsed on Spider-Man 3, and that one is near the bottom of my list. So yes, easy win for Spider-Man. Brand New Day over Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. I have it too. I saw this thing and it's like Spider-Man 3, like in my mind, like there was a really crucial part of like my tweenage years. Like that, like Spider-Man 3 came in and I was like, I remember my mom, like she took me to see it at the Seattle IMAX. Like it was like a birthday present. I just remember seeing the poster of, you know, the duality of them, like against the building. He's like up against the building, the black suit's like behind him. And I just remember being so excited as like a really young kid. I was like, oh, this movie was great. Like, but I'm like, as just watching it, like, oh my word, man, that it did. I think it still retains the heart of Sam Raimi and the movies before it, but everything else, man, it aged terribly. It's cringy.
That movie is what people are saying about Brand New Day, where they're saying there's too many storylines. Spider-Man 3 is the example of too many storylines, too many villains.
Yeah, exactly. Like you literally had the symbiote story, probably the most popular Spider-Man story of the modern age, mixed in with Flint Marco's background and origin. And then you have this continuing theme and huge bridge point between Peter and Harry's like friendship, and then Harry's like becoming the new Goblin, and then all while you're still trying to like show Peter failing at trying to propose to MJ. Like that's insane. And then it's like what is the main point of the story? That's where I think that like the people
Right.
what you said is hitting the nail. Like there's no main through line. Like it literally branches just into a tree. Like and there's just no end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
Yes.
Okay, The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Is it better?
Brand New Day is better than Amazing Spider-Man 1. I really love Andrew Garfield
Yeah.
because he had more quips than Tobey Maguire. And again, that's a huge part for me of Spider-Man is his quips. And so I still, to this day, quote the, oh no, small, tiny knives, my one weakness. I still love that scene. That, to me, makes that whole movie. The rest of the movie kind of falls apart. So I think Amazing Spider-Man 1 is not as good as Brand New Day.
Okay, valid. I also have Brand New Day above it. I'm actually a big TASM 1 like lover for a long time. And so it was tough. I have it higher than I think a lot of people do. I think there's a lot of things that Amazing Spider-Man does really well. And even I would say one thing off the top of my head that it does better than Brand New Day, and it was hinted at in Brand New Day, was when he's webbing up the lizard at that school, and he crawls all the way around him, and he literally turns into a spider. I thought that was so cool. They kind of did that when Spider-Man like was dodging the Hulk, and then he was on his back. Like that's really funny. But I always quote the one part I quote is when he's walking across the street, attacks him. He's like, I'm walking here. Like, it's just so New Yorker. And, like, I love that. I always quote that with my friends. But I also think that when you talked about your black suit, like, from the original Secret Wars, like, your favorite suit. Dude, my favorite suit was, this is so niche. It was the TASM 1 suit for the longest time.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people hate it because it's, like, the motorcycle, or the Oakley glasses, like it's just weird. But there's the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game on Xbox 360. And there's a version of that suit that has a belt. And I loved it with the belt. And that was like my favorite. I was like, oh man, they're kind of getting, I've always been like a really big tactical guy. And so that's why I love that even like the Homecoming suit, the Civil War Spider-Man suit, because he has like basically like equipment. And I don't know. I just think it's just kind of funny, a little bit of a headcanon. But I absolutely have Brand New Day above it, for sure. The TASM 2, is it better than Amazing Spider-Man 2?
This one also kind of the same as Amazing Spider-Man 1. Brand New Day, very much over, although I loved the Andrew Garfield, the way that he played Spider-Man, the quips, the closing, I should say. Actually, the opening and the closing of Amazing Spider-Man 2 are some of my favorites of all time. Seeing him just falling and the wind like fluttering his suit, that to me, and the music, man, I love seeing that. I watch that scene over and over again. And then the closing scene, yes, where he's with the kid and Rhino is coming at him. Although Rhino looks ridiculous, but like him taking on the mantle and like taking on the responsibility, and then the ending shot of him just about to go at it with Rhino.
Yeah, he's that with the sewer. It's so cool.
Yeah, that I love that. But the rest of the movie, another kind of, I felt, villain overload, the Sinister Six thing, like it was just too much. Clear winner for Brand New Day.
Yeah, I think that for sure it's Brand New Day on that. TASM 2, one of the things that I love that it does really well is the romance. That's something that fell short of Tobey's movies for me, is like, it's so nostalgic, like Mary Jane, but I'm like, Mary Jane was like terrible in those movies. I love Kirsten Dunst, and there's so many great moments, like the Spider-Man kiss, and like, her getting away from like kind of like her abusive dad, like, like there was like really cool, like heartwarming moments coming out there. But like in Spider-Man 3, I'm like, they never resolved their beef. I remember seeing this like meme. It was it was like, no, I don't want to hear. It's like them sitting at the table, and it's Mary Jane talking to Peter. It says, no, I don't want to hear. Or it's on the bridge when he like shows him the ring. She's breaking up. She's like, no, I don't want to hear about you, like literally almost dying every day. Like I don't want to hear about how you're getting fired from your job, or how you're broke and can't make money, or how you can't keep a job down. You miss my play. Like it's like, it's like what, dude? Like, you know what I mean? And so I thought that was pretty funny, and it's a bummer that we never saw Spider-Man 4. And there was a little bit of fan service in No Way Home when he's like, yeah, like me and MJ, we're figuring it out. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, I was like, they just left it so abrupt. But anyways, back to TASM 2. It's the best like love story, I think, in my mind. Like, and then to see her crack at the end, like. So sad, and I remember crying tears in the theater. But clear Brand New Day winner for that. I also think the Goblin, whoever played Harry in that, was one of the most atrocious. I think that's the worst Spider-Man villain for me across like a lot of stuff. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
but so cringe. He didn't have a lot to work with.
See his face.
Yeah, just annoying. Anyways, he's probably a nice guy. I literally said so bad. But anyways, Spider-Man Homecoming is Brand New Day better than Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yes. Brand New Day, I feel like, is a step up from Homecoming. It was, like I said, with all the Tom Hollands, there's just this sense of evolution. And so going back to Homecoming, it feels like, okay, this was a nice first step, a nice kind of John Hughesy high school comedy. It's fun to rewatch it and to establish the relationships of Ned and Peter. MJ is kind of aloof in that one. Like in Homecoming, she's like the weird girl who's like into dark stuff.
You don't even know she's MJ.
Yeah, and she goes to detention, and even though she doesn't have detention because she likes to sketch people in crisis, like that, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't endear me to her. Like I don't really like that. So that she's kind of left out of the mix. It's just Peter and Ned to me. It's like, oh, this is fun. There's a lot of things in that one that are also reestablishing Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man kind of taint on the franchise. Like that stopped Spider-Man, like us getting live action Spider-Mans for a while, and then Civil War and then Homecoming brought it back. So that it's a fun memory of bringing back Spider-Man. Like, oh, I remember Spider-Man being so good, and this is what it should be. Like, I feel like that Homecoming brought it back, but Brand New Day is just way better. It's just the steps of evolution to it. So I feel like Brand New Day takes it over Homecoming.
Yeah, this is down a lot of notes for me with this one. I definitely think other than the Homecoming, actually no, like Brand New Day is a better suit than Homecoming, and Homecoming suit is like one of my top 3. And
Brand New Day is my favorite.
I think it's not only the best, it is absolutely my favorite too. Like I love the suit, and we'll talk about that in a sec. Actually, we can talk about it right now. I mean, like, well, we'll talk about it after this actually, because I gotta get this. But I do think that, man, it's so good. I think with Homecoming, you're right. Like, it was really cool to see a high school Peter, and like figuring that out was really, really cool.
That was I think Michael Keaton, new thing.
Yes, and I think Michael Keaton is so good. He's like, I'll kill you, everybody. Like, I'm like that. It's gangster. Like, anyways, I thought that was really, really cool. Spider-Man, it's Brand New Day for me for sure on that one. Spider-Man Far From Home. What do you have?
Far From Home, below Brand New Day. The Mysterio stuff is cool. I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I missed Tony Stark in that movie. Huge. I forgot to mention in Homecoming, I really liked Tony Stark in it. Far From Home, I'm missing Tony Stark. And it's really just like Peter without his mentor. And I feel like he struggles so much. He tries to latch on to Mysterio, and it just goes terribly wrong. And then at the end, his identity getting revealed. So Far From Home is almost like the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy, where it's like, I feel like it ends on a down note. But it doesn't give me the same joy as Empire Strikes Back. Like, it being a down note to me like just feels bad when I'm leaving the end of Far From Home.
Yeah.
When we step into No Way Home, I go up. Like when I'm watching Far From Home, I go down. When I go No Way Home, I go up. So Brand New Day, better than Far From Home.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think what's cool about it is Jake Gyllenhaal's really, really cool. Part of me was bummed that Jake Gyllenhaal was cast and he's just one-offed. Like, I was like, bummer. Like, when you get a high caliber actor like that, I'm like, give him like a long-term role. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yep. Anyways, I definitely have Far From Home below it. I think that Far From Home it's really cool to kind of see a vacation. But I think there's some things that just didn't really age well with it. Not age well, but it was just kind of bland in some areas. But here's the biggest one, brother. Like, is Spider-Man Brand New Day better than No Way Home?
This is my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. No Way Home is better than Brand New Day. The reason why, it is so hard to top Three Peters. The enormity and the immense nature and stake of that is so crazy. They did the on your left moment, but with Peters, like having Andrew Garfield come through the portal. This girl hyperventilated next to me. Like she was in my same row and like she could not breathe when she saw Andrew Garfield come through the portal. And I was just like, whoa, this really affects people. But No Way Home, when it becomes the Three Peters movie, to me it is perfect. Like there's nothing from that. I think that last hour of the Three Peters, it is just unbeatable. Like I can't think of how they can ever top that, having the Three Peters. Like, because you went on that journey with both of them, actually all three of them, I'm sorry, you went on that journey with all three of them to have the Andrew Garfield moment where he gets to save MJ, like to have Tobey come in after what he meant to the franchise and starting it off, kicking it off, like, and then for Tom Holland to be able to learn from them, it was so great. And then bringing in all the villains from all the other ones, like No Way Home, and then also the culmination of the origin story really is No Way Home. Like those first three movies are Peter's origin,
reverse.
whereas at the end of the movie, he's in New York, single, like he's making his own suit, which that suit was my previous favorite. That the homemade
the final swing suit
at the end of that looks so fantastic. And Aunt May dying, giving the great power, great responsibility speech, and what she meant to that, to Peter and to the franchise, all of that stuff culminating, it's like No Way Home. For me, I don't know if they can ever top that. So No Way Home still beats Brand New Day for me.
That's good. That's a great case. This is by far, No Way Home, before Brand New Day came out, like this is by far my number one Spider-Man movie, bar none. It's my second favorite MCU movie. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is where I go back to that line that I crossed, because I'm like, what is a better movie? And I think that Brand New Day might surpass it with better direction, better cinematography. It's got, like, in the terms of those list items, I think it punches more of those boxes. When it comes to being a nerd and being serviced, oh my word, you're right. Like, nail on the head. Like, how are they going to top that? This is my second favorite character of all time. Like there's never been a bad Spider-Man. To bring them all together, like, I'm such a culprit of, I don't care if a movie's critically bad too. Like, sounds like an oxymoron, but like, I don't care if movies are long. I want to spend time with characters. That's one of my favorite parts about Endgame is them laying down on the bench and like Tony's got a thigh pillow and like Hulk's on the ground and like Scarlett Johansson, like, and they're mapping out what time they go back. Like, I just want to spend time because I feel like I'm in it with them. And so when you have like these moments where, like Tobey's trying to crack his back. And he's like, or like when he's like, oh, I haven't fought an alien, like, oh, like, like things like that are like literally some of my favorite parts about any movie. and to then have my three favorite, like some of my like growing up with characters of my life, like together in a room, it's just crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, Brand New Day, in terms of a Spider-Man movie, it's you know what I mean? Like it really hits it comically, and so it's just yeah, it's really tough. So I literally wrote on here, I wrote tied.
Yes.
That's
I
kind of
can
what I have,
see-
and I'm
yeah,
curious to see. You know,
I can
anyways,
see
go
that.
on.
Yeah. It's definitely one that it's the culmination of not only the Tom Holland trilogy, but it's the culmination of
Yeah,
all of the Spider-Man movies. Like everything has the the shoulder and the responsibility of all of those Spider-Man movies are there, and it's one of those things that a lot of people got tired of the multiverse during this multiverse saga, and
mm-hmm.
No Way Home, I'm like, this is the multiverse done right. Like this is how you
Yeah.
do the multiverse.
I was
Like
kind
this
of
is how you
bummed
make
because
it
I'm like,
interesting.
yeah, I was bummed because I'm like, this is the multiverse. Like, we are going to cook from here. Because I remember, like, Infinity Saga just got done. I'm like, No Way Home comes out 2021. And I'm like, oh, bro, this multiverse saga is going to be so much better. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania comes out. Or, like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, what are we doing, you know? But then you get
Yeah.
back where, like, Loki's really good. Like, that's awesome. Multiverse of Madness, like, is all right. But I don't know, you know?
It's so hard after not only after No Way Home, but after Endgame. Like that felt like such a peak and culmination of so many things. It was just such a sharp decline after that, and throw in the COVID writer strike, all actor strike, like all of these things, and then Disney Plus watering
Yeah.
down kind of the quality because it was just so many things coming out. The quality dipped on a lot of these things, and so it wasn't
Yeah, you had bought the
that
Bob
peak.
Chapek era, exactly, coming and taking over Bob Iger, like putting in his middle management with his banker buddies, like Kevin Feige basically got put on a leash. Quantity over quality. Anyways,
Yeah. So that all of that stuff it was like, man, we were so hyped up for it, and then now looking back on it, it's like, man, we really did not get what we wanted out of that.
yeah, man, yeah, I'm curious too. I didn't put this on here, but I'm curious. I don't know if I'm ready to go on the record about the Spider-Verse movies, but where do
Ooh,
you have it ranked against the Spider-Verse movies?
dang. That's super hard
That's a tough
because
one.
to me, the Spider-Verse movies are perfect. Like I can't think of anything wrong with both Spider-Verse movies. Oh man. I'm going to put both Spider-Verse movies ahead of Brand New Day.
Yeah.
I just both of them are such a unique representation of animation and the art form. It's hard for me to think that this movie, Brand New Day, is a really good movie and really good Spider-Man movie. The Spider-Verse movies set a new standard for animation to where almost everything that has come since has copied the Puss in
To
Boots
try to
movie,
replicate.
the
Yeah.
yeah, the K-pop Demon Hunters, the
Teenage Mutant Ninja
there was that
Turtles.
basketball, yeah, Turtles. That was another one where they set a new standard for the way that animated films look now, and it's like that is so crazy to me that they were that innovative on top of
Yeah.
them being great stories. Like even if you take away the visuals and you take away the animation, they are just great Miles Morales stories, and also made Miles Morales a household name. Whereas before that, only comic book fans knew Miles Morales. After the Spider-Verse movies, like there's Halloween costumes, there's kids wanting to be Miles Morales. He's on
Totally.
the all the marketing now, and my son watches the toddler Spidey and his Amazing Friends, where they're little kids,
Yeah.
and Miles is in there. It's like everything I think is due to Spider-Verse. Like that is the reason why Miles is such a popular character now. So unfortunately, I think those both top Brand New Day.
Yeah, it's funny. I like It's tough, dude. Like I had watched something that I
It
completely
is.
agree with. I actually think that separate from Brandon Day, I think that Into the Spider-Verse I think I like more than Across the Spider-Verse. I
Ooh, man.
Yeah, it's crazy because a lot of people are like Across is like literally one of the best movies ever to come out. And one of the things that I think Across does really well is that in every frame, I heard Sean Chandler talk about this. I couldn't agree more. Every frame, it seems like there is so much intention. They're trying to push a boundary of creativity in every frame of the
Yes.
movie or every scene.
Yes.
And so that I
Yes.
appreciate a lot. I think that is really, really cool in terms of achievement. It's incredible. And I think Into the Spider-Verse it's the same thing. Like it's kind of the argument where you're like when it does it first, it's hard to top it because it broke the barrier. And that's what Into did for me. I was just like, whoa, like what's up, danger? Like that's like a crazy scene. Like when he jumps off the skyscraper and he rips the glass with him, like, man, that's so cool. And I
Yes.
also think Across is half a movie in my mind. It's not complete.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's the thing that I have going against it. Um but oh yeah, I don't know how I could rank Rainy Day. I sometimes see animation still separate from live action, so it's tough.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, dude. It's tough. Anyways, I was curious to hear your
Yeah.
thoughts because I know you're a big fan of those movies. But anyways, guys,
Yes.
that's kind of it for unless you got anything else to add, like that's kind of it for Spider-Man Brand New Day. That was so
Yeah.
fun. Is there anything else you want to add?
The only thing, did you think the hype around Jean Grey, you and I both made videos leading up to
Yeah.
Sadie Sink being revealed as Jean Grey. Were they justified in holding it back? Like, do you think them holding it back made for a good mystery and made for a better movie? Or should they have just told us, like, who she was playing from the start?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think that I don't think yeah, I'm going to go through a couple things here because I think that the wager of them saying, "Hey, like we're either going to announce it to the audience." I don't think it was efficient because I think that us nerds, we were the ones that are really going to find out that Jean Grey is she's Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. Like us nerds are going to find that out. The general audience, I think that Sony and Kevin Feige thought the general audience is gonna have the surprise. The nerds are gonna find it out, but the general audience is gonna say, well, I don't still think that Jean Grey, at least especially in the recent movies we've seen her in, like the general audience knows enough about Jean Grey for that wager to like really hit home. If it was a Miles Morales
Right.
thing, that could be completely different. Like, or if it was a Wolverine thing, like that's completely different. But I just think with Jean Grey, like it's like again, like you got to really kind of know your X-Men, and like I think obviously like the Fox universe has done a great job with Famke Jensen and Sophie Turner, like but I just think the wager wasn't there in my mind too. I think that they thought it was going to be one of the big reveals, like they're trying to replicate with No Way Home, and that was a bummer about the movie because I thought there was going to be like a big reveal, and like so Jean Grey, I think in my mind I was like, oh, it was confirmation bias. I'm like, it's that, but like you had Andrew and Tobey and Charlie Cox's Daredevil, and all of the villains from the when you see Green Goblin laughing in the smoke in the sky, like so I would have liked to see a different one, and I think that it kind of if this makes sense, like putting all the eggs in that basket is a bummer because I just think it wasn't thought out well. I think they would have been better off probably just letting us know like, hey, the X-Men are coming, like this is cool, or giving us a post-credit scene where she maybe meets Professor X, like something like that. Like I think would have wagered better. I don't know. Does that answer that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely something I was thinking about as I was watching it because I'm like you, I really liked her performance, but I felt like the hype, it was just too much going into it. I wish I would have had I didn't know, or I wasn't speculating leading up
Yeah,
to it. I
same
just
here.
wanted to go into it. Yeah. Clean.
Yeah, same exact here, man. Yeah, that was yeah, I really liked it, man. I think it was a great movie. I'm honestly talking about it now makes me want to go see it again. I've only seen it
Yeah.
twice, but I'm like kind of planning my third viewing. I want to go see it in Screen X, but they're booked out for a minute.
I was going to,
So,
oh,
yeah.
yeah. I was going to tell you, my second viewing was Screen X, and that was my very first time seeing it like that. It
Yeah.
is really cool. I think it definitely adds something to it. And then when I saw it my third time, I was like, hey, wait a minute. There's not like images on the side. This doesn't
Did
feel
it
as
take
cool as
away though?
my
Did it
Screen
take
X.
away anything?
No, although it's the full movie is not in Screen X. It's kind of like a lot of the IMAX where it switches ratio and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
not the whole movie except for Odyssey. But with Screen X,
Oh.
like the really cool action, like the opening scene goes wide and then it goes back to normal again. So
Oh, so
that would be
is
my
most
only.
of the movie just in a regular front screen?
Yeah, it's really like a lot of action. Like the dialogue scenes, it's not in Screen X. It's just the action scenes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's kind of cool actually. I'm excited. That's Desert Ridge. You went to Desert Ridge, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite theaters. Me and Lauren are trying to like kind of move over there. That's like really I love that area. That is by far one of my favorite spots.
Yes.
Okay, guys, let's talk some Doomsday, bro. Like we didn't get to do this last time. I'm so excited. I know we're kind of running on like hour 40 here, but we can kind of sum everything up. First off, I want to know
Yes.
what your major like what were your thoughts about the trailer? That's my first question, and then we'll kind of get into this game we're playing. Because I had some thoughts on the trailer, and I want to hear yours.
Yeah, I loved the trailer, and it's funny. My wife Candy, she watched it like 10 times in a row. She was like, I want to see it again. Like she just could not get enough of it. But hearing Robert Downey Jr.'s accent, to me, that was the thing that made that trailer because it lived up to my anticipation. This is I feel like this is the Doctor Doom that's finally going to give some respect and not the previous Fantastic Four. The two previous Doctor Dooms, like, it's funny because my wife
Terrible.
has seen it
Yeah.
and she's like, she still doesn't know who Doctor Doom is. And so, like, if you've had two movies and you still don't know who this character is, like the mainstream audience, it's like,
Yeah.
that shows you something. That shows you how badly
Something's wrong, yeah.
yeah. So this one feels right. Like this feels like he is a threat that is bigger than Thanos. Because that was another thing. After Endgame, you're like, well, where are they going to go from here? In my mind, I was only like, Galactus is the only bigger you can go, and they did him in Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Doom is perfect. This is the next step.
Yeah, I love it. I think the trailer I think you're right. The Latvian accent was what made the trailer for me. That was my favorite part. Being a nerd is a blessing and a curse, as we can agree, Trent, because I had heard from CinemaCon, like literally, like I was trying to dodge it, but like in our space, like we can't. And so you hear people talk about the trailer, what they saw, and that really took me out of the trailer. I remember texting you about this, and
Yes.
we were talking about it, and I think it's a good trailer for sure. Like, I'm so excited. It does not make me less hyped for the movie. It makes me a little worried, but I think what's a bummer is that just like, dang, I literally was exactly how I thought it was going to be. And I was like, wait, and again, it's the same thing. It's like, I knew,
No
I didn't wish I didn't
surprise.
speculate Jean Grey. Like, I wish I found
Right.
that out. Like, I wish I didn't know
Yeah.
that Shang-Chi and Gambit fight, or that Mystique turns into Yelena. Like, I wish I didn't know that, but like, I did, so it didn't hit. And so like I wish I didn't know he caught the frickin' Stormbreaker with his two fingers, but I heard he did, and like it's a bummer. So, but I'm excited to see. I've heard this next trailer, and again, this is kind of working against what I'm saying. Like I've already heard a little bit about the next trailer, and I heard it's like really good. So I'm like trying to tap out of it, but yeah, apparently it's really really good. But yeah, man,
Man.
I'm pumped for the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play a little game here. We're gonna talk a little Doomsday. I want to know, and take this and run with it. What are 3 major predictions that you think is going to happen in this movie? Now, I would encourage you to be a little more niche rather than like, he's going to create Battle World or something like that. Like, that's totally, and you know more about that. I want to hear, like, take it and run with it. But if you want to get niche. Like, if you think something really specific might happen, whether it's minor or macro, like, let me know. So take it, man. What's your first prediction, and then I'll go.
I think Doom is going to reveal his face at the end of Doomsday, and we're going to see that it's Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. Everyone's going to think, oh, wait, Tony Stark. And then that's going to set up in Secret Wars, because I don't think Tom Holland is in this movie because,
Yeah.
like you said, he was filming at the same time that Doomsday was filming. And I think we're going to see him in Secret Wars. So I think this movie is going to set up him coming face to face with Robert Downey Jr. Doom, and like having to reckon with his greatest enemy is now going to be wearing his father figure's face. I think that is going to be a major setup. At the end of this movie, he takes his mask off, and it's not damaged or anything. It's just Tony Stark.
Oh, I think that's a great prediction. I definitely think there has to be somewhat of a queue up for the face-to-face. Like, there has to be. I
Stark?
think that... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't feel so good. I think... I kind of have a similar one. And there's kind of two paths that I want to take with it. The one is, like, I think that you're right. Tom's not going to have a big role in it. I think he will be in it, at least a post-credit scene, I think. But I think we're going to see him, and maybe this just goes into my Secret Wars argument, you'll see him get the symbiote. Like, I think that they're not going to wait till 5. I don't know if technically they're going to do it in Doomsday, but I'm kind of looking as, like, Infinity War and Endgame, like, they're kind of the same movie. Like, I think that he's going to get the symbiote in this. And there was another thing, kind of on the thing that I saw, and this is maybe my honorable mention. I thought that I wouldn't be surprised if they show Robert Downey Jr. his likeness as Doctor Doom, and then it's revealed that it's someone else, and he's like a Doom bot because he wants to maybe recruit people, or vice versa. Like the Tony Stark we knew, man, I've seen so many theories. The Tony Stark that we knew was actually a Doom variant all along.
Yes,
I don't know. Anyways, what's your second prediction?
For those that know the Jonathan Hickman comic book, I think we're going to see something similar where Reed Richards' rocket becomes kind of like a space ark, and a small group of survivors.
Check it out.
Remember, that is fantastic. I love that.
Come on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on.
A small group of survivors from this movie are going to kind of be saved, like Noah's Ark, and then go into Secret Wars. So definitely, like I said, I feel like this is just going to be that bridge. And also, this one is going to be like Infinity War, where Doom wins this movie. Like that, the end of the movie, Doctor Doom is the victor. It's looking bad for our heroes. And then Secret Wars are going to come back. But I think setting up that space arc and that Fantastic Four ship that we saw come at the end of Thunderbolts, I think that ship is going to be the arc.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw something today that I agree with, and this has to go in, which is a question of like what you think happens in the end credit scene of Brand New Day. And so I obviously, like, I just made a short about this I'm going to post, but like a lot of people talk about how is that another Spider-Man entering the universe? Is that like a Tobey and Andrew is back? I don't think that's it. Is it Tom being pulled into Battleworld, and that kind of like shows the incursion and he pulls into Battleworld? Or, and this is what I think is going to happen, this kind of goes along with what you're saying, is that Tom is pulled right before an incursion. He's pulled out by the TVA because he is, quote unquote, an anchor being. And I think that you're going to see some other anchor beings, and you're going to see like this ragtag team, not in Doomsday, but or maybe in Doomsday at the end, like that they were pulled out as this like squad, and it's kind of going to represent like the OG6 and like, or like the people that were not blipped. And they're going to be the ones that kind of go in and fight against Doom's reality while everybody else is like prisoner on Battleworld. I can see that happening.
Yes.
I don't know. Is
100%.
that crazy? Is that like I don't know. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that is spot on. Like, it's always fun with these because with a lot of rumors and speculation, there's even just the smallest piece can be true, and then that kind of validates it. So yeah, I think there's nothing in that doesn't ring true to me. Like, that feels like that could be a valid, possible way that they go. And it's always interesting to see what the filmmakers choose to adapt and what they choose to bring over. Because, like I said earlier in this episode, a lot of these are really just name only. When they say, like this one, for example, Brand New Day in the comics it's not a storyline. It's more like an initiative where it was like 103 issues, and the whole thing was setting up Peter to kind of re-establish himself, because he had been coming off of revealing his identity. He had been coming off of resetting his marriage to Mary Jane, and it was all like to give a fresh start to this character that, for whatever reason, the writers at Marvel thought had gotten stale. Thought, oh, wait a minute, we can't tell compelling stories when he's married. Like when he's got the ball and chain, we can't tell the story where he's going out to the club and he's hanging out. So that's a whole can of worms. But Brand New Day,
totally.
I feel like it's more name than anything, and it fits.
Name only.
But it's not taking specific pieces from Brand New Day, the comic. And I don't know for Secret Wars how much they're actually going to take from the comic and how much it's just that name only. But I mean,
I think that they're probably going to be faithful. I would hope that they're faithful in a way. Like, I think that there's probably going to be this departure a little bit. Like, we don't know the Beyonders in the MCU, but I would think that because tell me if I'm wrong, like Doom harnesses the power of the Beyonders to create Battleworld. And I would think that, I think an easy replacement for the Beyonders is like Sentry or like the Void. And then like maybe, Doctor Strange and like this ragtag squad, like the Latverian witches, like, hello, you know what I mean? I think that's something that in my mind I could see definitely happening.
Yeah. All of those are valid possibilities. Even Franklin, because we saw Franklin's power in Fantastic Four, where he's able to bring his mom back to life, and we see Doom revealing himself to Franklin at the end of Fantastic Four. So that's a valid possibility as well. But all of those things can be just stand-ins for the Beyonders, because you really don't need to set them up. It's just, okay, he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of reality changing powers. So where does he get that from? Fill in the blank.
That leads me directly to my next prediction, bro. I'm standing 10 toes on this. I feel like so confident and validated in this. And I'm going to tell you why, because I think I have evidence to why this is going to happen. And maybe I'm just preaching to the choir here and you're like, wait, this is an obvious one. I hope it's not. But I definitely think that Sue and Franklin, this Doom, he was married to Sue and he had a kid, maybe named Franklin or like Franklin. I absolutely think, and I think the movie, I would go so far as the movie literally probably opens with an incursion destroying his world, setting him on a warpath. And I think that's what ties him in, not only to, I just think he's going to try to go after Reed and go after Sue. There's 3 pieces of evidence that I think this is going to happen with. I think not only does he have Franklin as his son, Sue as his wife, but I think that shows the reason why he goes after Franklin and demasks himself, because he's like, maybe you'll recognize me as like your dad. Or like, you're my son, you need to see my face. And I think he's either going to kidnap him or whatever. The second part is, actually there's 3 things to this. 4 things. That part, the second part is the Doomsday the Doomsday poster. He's literally like kneeling at an altar or painting, and you literally see Sue or a woman and child. And I think it looks like Sue, and I think it looks like Franklin. So that right there gives me that. The third is, remember that really old concept art that got released about Doomsday? It's like medieval. It shows God Emperor Doom. It shows, I'll try to send it to you after this. There's a really famous, there's like a famous couple pieces of concept art, but everybody's saying it was not real. Like it came out that it was like not true. But every single inkling that's leading up to the idea of Doomsday, like it's checking off the boxes of it. Like White Vision, like there's just a couple other things that like really make sense in it. And I think that there's a part in there where you see God Emperor Doom like landing on his throne. And he has Doctor Strange as his like second-hand man sitting there. And then you have Sue like in a medieval gown. And so that right there shows me that. I also think obviously Franklin is so powerful, like Doom's going to want to be powerful. But another thing is Agbo Studios which is the Russo brothers production company.
Yes.
There was 2 workers that posted a video doing like a trend, like a TikTok trend. And in the video, they're like, you see this camera like pan like this, da 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 da. And in the background, you see 3 and only 3 very specific costumes. And it's not like 3 out of a big group. It's literally just 3 mannequins with 3 costumes right front and center. And I don't think they saw that they did this. But who was it? It was Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom outfit. It was Sue Storm, and it was Franklin. I'll try to find this to you, bro. It blew my mind because I'm like, oh, I made a video on it. I was like, there's absolutely no way like Doom does not have this family in an alternate timeline. I don't know, and or maybe he's like obsessed or whatever. Like I don't know. Like obviously, know in the comics, like Doom is like in love with Sue as well. Like that way. But like, dude, I'm so freaking 10 toes down on it. It's not even funny. I'm gonna eat my words if I'm wrong, but I absolutely think that's what's happening.
I always love when Nate goes all in with the Sadie Sink. I don't know if you made a video on it or you just text me.
Yeah.
You said, I will bet my house that Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. And you were right. You get to keep your house, Nate.
There we go. I don't get to go leverage a mortgage and try to. Yeah, exactly. That's so funny, dude. I literally rent. I think I said something like that. I was like, I'll sell the house that I'm renting, or something like that. Dude, yeah. I just think that there's some things like I definitely think, dude. I think Doom that might happen. What's your third prediction?
That is actually your third one is very valid. I think I'm going to go a different route on that same kind of the backbone of that is Doom is out to get revenge for a family that he lost, and it could be his mother. I think on that poster where we see that kind of motherly figure, that could be his mother, and the kid is him. That's one possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Or it could be a wife and a child that he had, and Steve Rogers is the reason why they're gone. And the only reason I'm thinking this is because why is Steve Rogers back? Why is he in this movie? And I think when he went off on his joyride with Peggy, when he set that up and he had a child who was never supposed to be born, that causes a branching timeline, that causes an incursion which kills Doom's family. Whatever planet they're on, that is wiped out. And so he's coming after Steve Rogers, and also just incursions in general. Like he's like, I'm never going to have a family lose. Like, I'm never going to have someone lose a family again. And so that, to me, I think could be a reason of why he's gathering all this power, why he's amassing it, why there's that imagery of the mother and the child, and also why I think Loki and Steve Rogers are in the trailer. There's something where Loki has to leave his seat at the end of time.
Yeah, he goes to the house. I remember you said that.
And why is that? Why is he having to leave? It has to be something with Doom's role and also Steve's incursion that he's created. So I think there's something with all of these things, and somehow Doomsday is going to be Doom and Steve Rogers. Secret Wars is going to be Doom and Reed Richards. I think that's how it's going to go. Like the main antagonist, protagonist. Because even at CinemaCon, they had the Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans like talking to each other on stage, and they were kind of being antagonistic towards each other. And I think that has something to do with in the movie, because in the comics it's always Reed Richards. So why in this movie is Steve Rogers such a big part in this movie? I think, and the reason why Chris Evans came back, they probably told him like, okay, this is going to be a big role for you. Like this is going to be a meaty thing that you have. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I am never good at predictions, so take all of these with a grain of salt.
Crack me up. I think that I would even go so far to say, and this is something that I probably a given, but yeah, like I think that Loki was the one that placed Steve in that universe. And I think when he came back, like obviously he goes back in time, but I don't think the audience caught on that like a retcon they could make or not. Like he actually went to another universe.
Yeah,
and I
that
think
would make
that is
sense.
the same universe as the Fantastic Four. I think it's that universe. And
Okay.
like I think when
Yeah.
that rocket ship's coming
makes
back,
sense.
like I think Steve's on that ship. And then when you see Steve at the end, you think you're like, oh well, no, that he was there in the end. Well, he did come back in that ship, and we're gonna see that unfold in this movie. And then he's gonna
That makes
stick
sense.
around. I think he's gonna stick around because he even talks about, he's like, yeah, like I tried that life, like you know what I mean, like, and he's like, it was good, like it was a good life, like, and he's like, you want to tell me about it? Is that it? He's like, no, I don't think I will. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that there's room for that for sure.
Yes.
And anyways, my last prediction
That makes
though,
sense.
is yeah, and I think that this last one though is different. I don't think it's a story one. It's more so financially, dude. I think there's a chance this movie hits $3 billion if it's good.
Whoa.
I think it's crazy.
Dang.
If not this, I think Secret Wars could be the first $3 billion movie, but they have to be good.
Dang.
Actually, I think they have to be great for that to happen.
Yeah, well, like whatever Doomsday does, that definitely like plays a part in what Secret Wars does. Because if Doomsday is a huge hit, then Secret Wars is going to be going in on the back of that. Because usually what happens with a lot of sequels, like you saw it with Spider-Man 3, whatever the previous one was, how good that one was, it translates into the next one. Because Spider-Man 3 is the worst of that trilogy, but I want to say it had the biggest box office. And I think that's because Spider-Man 2 was so good. So if Doomsday like really knocks it out of the park, that they could be on $3 billion for Secret Wars.
It'd just be crazy to witness that. Anyways, what's your last prediction?
I think playing off of what you said earlier, Tom Holland comes in as like a post-credit for Doomsday and Mr. Stark, like something that is teasing the audience to be like, Tom is here, like something about that. So I'm not sure exactly the role that he's going to play, but definitely I feel like they don't want to miss out because Brand New Day already is breaking, box office records and stuff. So I feel like even if they have to go film it right now, I feel like they're like, hey, let's get Tom in on something.
Yeah, dude, I actually just had this thought pop into my mind. What if I'm putting on my director hat here. I love to do this. I love to like think
Director
about it a
Nate,
little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. What if they utilize this? I think this would be a really smart idea. In Secret Wars, yes, they tease a reunion at Doomsday. And whether it's in a Doomsday post-credit scene, like where he gets the symbiote, or you're teasing he's going to get the symbiote, or maybe it's like a small plot point in Secret Wars where he puts on the symbiote. I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, well, how would that look if Tom had the symbiote and he was either fighting Doom and I'm like, that wouldn't really make sense, like from because you want to maximize Tom being like innocent and Doom be bad, because it really plays into the emotion. But then I'm like, dude, what if they had symbiotic Peter work with Doom? And he's like, because he's like, this is my like father figure, like I have to like align myself. And then he has this like excuse, it's the symbiote, like, you know what I mean? I think that would be a really interesting plot point.
Yeah, that is interesting. I would like to see, because that's something that I think would be new, that would be novel, that we wouldn't necessarily expect or we hadn't seen before. So yeah, that I can see that.
Yeah, I just had that thought. That'd be cool. Anyways, let's move on to characters. I think that like this is obviously something that we know there's going to be some characters in here that we see that aren't on Share Watch. And so I'm curious to see what characters you think are going to be in Avengers Doomsday that we don't already know. Go for it.
I would love to see Tobey Maguire come back again, because he's not a spring chicken anymore. Like this, I think, might be the last time we ever get to see him as Spider-Man again. So just as a swan song, same thing with all these Fox X-Men guys, like this, I think is going to be a great swan song and say, hey, thanks for everything you've done for the MCU, like the Marvel movies, not the MCU, but just Marvel movies in general. And then off of that, tying into that, I think some type of Wolverine, whether it's Hugh Jackman or not, I don't know, but maybe this is where we get a new Wolverine. So I'd love to see that in Doomsday. Like they hadn't announced who it is, but they know there's an X-Men movie coming. So whatever they're going to do with Wolverine. And then, dang it.
Those are good picks so far.
There's really everyone that I can think of has already been on the chair watch. So I'm going to go, hey, throw in Andrew Garfield for my third one. That's my other one.
I do think on that note, and before I share mine, I think that like it'd be hard for them to, from a financial perspective, and if you're smart as a studio, and this is maybe not smart, more so if you're just a studio head and you want to capitalize on the bills, it's hard for me to think that they would throw in Tobey and not Andrew. And maybe they're separate, like maybe it's a separate capacity, but like I just think that would be tough to do. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I would think for sure. I've got three they're different ones. Well, one of them is, I think that a Tobey Maguire or a, you know, maybe even a Tom, you know, later on, I think if it's Tom, he's going to be utilized in a very small way. But I think the biggest reason I think that is there was Robert Downey Jr. on Easter shared a picture of Doom holding an Easter basket and his face. I don't know if you ever saw that picture.
Yes.
And there was Easter eggs, all of it. And every single person on Chair Watch was confirmed. It shows like a new Avengers logo, like Thor. It showed the TVA logo, or Loki's logo. Like it showed all these different characters. And then there was a Spider-Man egg at the end of it. And and I made a video about this. Everybody was like, it's Tobey's spider, because you can tell all the spiders look different. But not a lot of people were thinking that Tom's new Spider-Man logo, it actually looked like it. I'll try to find the video and send it to you. But it looked very similar to that. Anyways, all that to say is I know a Spider-Man will be in this movie. I think it would make sense for a Spider-Man to be in this movie. Obviously, you hear Tobey like filming and all these different things. I think another person is going to be Doctor Strange. I think that Doctor Strange, like, there's too much multiversal connection and explanation that they've had to not put him in this movie. And so I think that would be pretty crazy if they didn't. And maybe if he's like the one explaining because he's with Clea, I think her name is at the end of Multiverse Man, where he gets the third eye and things like that. So it'd be hard for me to think that like they would skip over that storyline because that's probably another like Doctor. And again, it was Doctor Strange again, like in No Way Home, like he's like the representation of the multiverse. He literally has a multiverse movie. He's by far the most involved in multiverse. That would be hard for me not to see him in.
Yes.
And then my last is I think her name's pronounced Famke Jensen. Is that her last name? The girl who plays Jean Grey, obviously in the first X-Men Fox universe. I think she's going to be in it because she has not been announced. But I think she would be an easy way for them to include Doom's like extra power. I actually think she'd be like you sent that picture. I think she's going to be a Latvian witch. I think it would make a lot of sense for that. I don't know. I think it would, you'd see a lot of power that Doom utilizes, the magic, obviously she doesn't use magic. She's like a telepath. But like, anyways, that's kind of what I think. I think those are my three. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, bro. Well, is there any other thing you want to add with Doomsday? Like, what's your kind of like, I know we got to get moving here because we're over 2 hours. But I mean, is there anything else you want to add that we didn't hit
on? No, I'm excited to see what this entails and Marvel pulling back and only doing like one movie a year after this. After the next one is Secret Wars and then Ghost Rider. I think it's going to be sad as a nerd and as a Marvel fan. I want more, but I also want better quality. I want them to be like, okay, let's focus and not rush it. So it'll be interesting to see how Doomsday turns out, because I also have a little bit of doubt in the back of my mind of returning back to the well, going back to Robert Downey Jr., going back to Chris Evans, going back to the Russo brothers. All of these things, that seems like more desperation than it does creativity, and we're picking the best people for the story. It just, that selection felt like a backpedal after Jonathan Majors and after all the things that happened. So I'm just curious to see how they pull it off, how Doomsday from start to finish is like a movie. Like how does it translate? So that's what I'm really curious to see.
Yeah, I definitely think that another prediction I have randomly, a side note, like it's funny because you think about movie studios and like they're just kind of all they care about is money.
Yes.
And I would love a way, and this is kind of nerd service in my mind. So kind of I'm like happy about it, but kind of sad. I honestly think this like soft reboot that they're gonna do after Secret Wars and align everything into one universe. I think what they're gonna do with it is, I think they're gonna bring back like Steve, and I think they're gonna have Tony come back, and they're gonna probably stick around, but I think they're gonna be very, very, very background characters. And I think they're going to give them a ride off the sunset and utilize them when they need to, because you have the X-Men, you have Black Panther, you have this mutant saga, you have Ghost Rider. You're probably going to get a lot of like darker forces. Like I'd love to see a Midnight Suns movie. That's rumored to be made.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see that, but I think that they're going to try to capitalize on their money, bro. I'm telling you. And but I don't know. It's interesting because I don't want them to sacrifice story for that. Like I don't want that to happen. I saw this rumor that they're going to wait to introduce a new Wolverine because they're going to have the X-Men ride without Wolverine. At the same time, like the Till You're 90 is legitimately probably going to happen with Hugh Jackman. But like he'll be an actual proper old man Logan. You know?
Yes.
I don't know.
No makeup.
But anyways, man. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, bro, that was so much fun. I want to leave us off with something I love to do every single time. If you're down with it, let me pull it up. Is a verse of the day, brother. Me and Trent are obviously believers, man. We want to make sure you guys get your word in today. This one is verse of the day out of Luke chapter 12, verse 15. This is the international version. It says, "Then he said to them, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in abundance of possessions." That's a word right there. Yes. I'd say take it or leave it, but take it because it's a good word, man. Anyways, I love to talk about like how, God gives us these like fun things to like have fun with, and we could just give it back to him by saying thanks for it. So anyways, Trent, you're my brother, bro. I'm so excited that you were on here, dude. I had such a blast again. Make sure to actually tell the audience where they can find you.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you, Nate, for inviting me. I love talking to you, even in our text messages. So anytime we get to talk on a podcast, it's a pleasure and a blessing for me. I talk about comic books over at a channel called This Comic Cooks, and I also talk about Star Wars on a channel called Trust in the Force. There just hasn't been, after the mall show, there hasn't really been a ton of Star Wars. There is a new anime coming out called Star Wars Visions, but right now a lot of my time is talking about Brand New Day, talking about X-Men 97, talking about all the things over at This Comic Cooks. But please check out both channels.
Come on, brother. Right on. Yeah, go check him out. Give him a follow. Give him a subscribe. Go comment on his videos, man. But anyways, Trent, thanks so much for being here, bro. You're going to be a regular attender on this show, so we're already going to plan our next episode because that was really fun, bro.
Nate. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in the next vid. Thanks for being here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely jump in the comments because I love responding, and we can use some of that stuff on the show. But anyways, we'll see you guys in the next vid. Peace.